Hello everyone and welcome to another doll video. Today I will be doing a body review of the Dream Valley Julie. I do have the full set and I will be going through the entire full set. Let's start with the body though. So this is the Dream Valley Julie. She is a USD size. She comes with her 2 ears and her tail. There is a human version. I don't think either are available anymore. They went, I think the last time you could order them was in December of 2019, so, but if you're looking for one on the secondhand market, then this will still hopefully help you make that decision. Let's start with her head. This is the face up. These eyes are not her original eyes. I will be showing those off as well. She comes with 2 magnets. The back of her head has the Dream Valley plaque on it. She's strung pretty tightly. I just got her a few days ago from the company or from Denver Dolls, but she doesn't like to put her head down. She's strung really tightly. I'm probably going to suede her versus unstringing her because I already did some things with her elastic and it was very frustrating because of her size, trying to restring through the small holes and stuff. So that's what she looks like with her ears on. The cool thing is, of course, since it's magnets, they can do different positions, but also if you want to do a ears folded back position, that is also possible, which from the side kind of looks like that. So she can do a scared or a concerned, even maybe snarling, well not snarling because her face, but more articulation with canine related features. So going on to her arms, they're very thin. I was really shocked on how thin her limbs are. She's normal height for a USD, but her limbs for me, I'm not used to them being this thin. Even my 24 centimeters, which is smaller than USD, don't have this thin of limbs, so just be aware of that when buying her. But she has normal shoulder, and this doesn't come off. This is attached to the hand for her wrist. Now, when I got her in, her wrist hooks were wide, so they were getting caught on her arm, and actually one of them caused some damage, which I sanded down so you can't really tell. Just be aware of that. If the hook is too wide, it's going to get caught because of how small the limbs are. As for the elbow joint, it's a double joint. It goes about that far. It can also swivel. There's nothing keeping it from swiveling around at the upper arm. When we pull it apart, that's what the bean looks like. And that's about it for the arm. It's nice. When she came to me, she holds her poses. She's strung really just kind of perfectly because whatever elastic they use is a perfect thickness as well as the tightness for her arms. Moving on to her torso. I'm going to pull her apart just so you can see where the tail is attached. Let's see if you can see that. There's a hook in there, and that is where the tail is attached. So if you want to not have a tail because it's so big, that's where you would go to unhook it. As far as movement goes, she can go pretty far to the sides. Now, once again, she's strung really tightly from the company, so she may need sueding. Now, if you look at her resin thickness, which is really hard to tell on video, she's really thin. That makes me nervous. I've never had a doll this thin, so do that with what you will. But as for forward and back, not bad. She wants to spring forward on her going back, so sueding would help that if you really want to arch her back. She's only 2 parts. So this is the best part for me. I really enjoy the hip joint, and the reason being is it's also a bean, and I call the joints beans if they're double jointed. So she can, let's do it this way. So she can go like that, but then, and this, she can go like that. You're probably like, why would I need to? Well, let's say your character for this doll is very flexible, or you just want them to have their knees to their chest. It allows more mobility. Now, this is obviously the primary movement point. So to get this to move, you need to hold the bean and then move it. And okay, it's on this side. So, let's see. The leg does have a little locking mechanism in there. So that will help with locking the leg in place. It's so, while this part will swivel, this not so much. It's really just meant to go in that slot. That's why it doesn't move, because it's locked. Moving down to the knee, just like the elbow, it is double jointed. So that's as far as it goes. Obviously you could do the half. This is the shape of the bean. It has a little kneecap on it, so you know what the front is. Well, you know what the front is from the back as well. And as for the ankle, there's no joint or anything, just like the wrist, it's just ankle. It does the typical ankle movements. Nothing super special. Now, let's talk about her feet and hands. She does have clawed toes. So, come on. If you don't like the clawed toes, then you may want to go for the human version, or just buy the human feet and hands, because the hands are also clawed. And they're kind of sharp. So look how, like, you can see the length of the nails from there on these 2 fingers. Hope it's focusing. Now down to the tail, the most exciting part. As you can tell, her tail is longer than her legs. This can cause some issues. Now this is the way the tail comes in the box, but if you notice the coloring, the tail when you actually use her would look like this. Now this does provide like a tripod-like stand where her 2 feet and her tail create stability, but when it comes to anything that isn't a standing position, like if she wants to lay like this, she's got a big tail in the way. So she ends up looking like this, or you have to put her feet on her tail, which could be cool if you can get some posing going. But while I really like the tail and the aesthetic, I can see how some people wouldn't, because it gets in the way or because it's so big proportionately. It does move at these points, so, and they swivel, so if you really want to do the like scared tuck tail look, you can. Now the only issue I actually have that gets on my nerves when it comes to the tail is here. So when pants or underwear, and the full set They Come With underwear goes on, it wants to go up to here. And there's no hole in the underwear that came with this, so that means that it wants to go into the joint, which causes the tail, like the tail is heavy anyways, but when it's not in the joint, it really is just on a string. So there's no stability at all. Just keep that in mind though when putting pants or underwear on her, that this tail is gonna get in the way of, or rather the band of whatever you put on her is gonna get in the way of the tail. So it'll cause instability in the tail. But that's about it for the body itself. We're gonna move on to the rest of the full set in case you're interested in the full set. So this is the wig. I actually really like this wig. The way it's constructed, it has some hair sewn on the inside to hide the band on the side of her head. It's also really thick on the top, and it creates this nice like part, but it also isn't like really thin. Like the material color works really well, so it looks like a scalp instead of a weird, like for me it's more realistic, I guess. It's not just super flat on the top of her head. It's also got this like rubber-esque, it's not really rubber, it's like a plastic right here. And I think that helps it stay, but it also has the front of the hair sewn in to go towards the forehead and also to give this part. I just think it's really well constructed. It's one of my favorite wigs because of the way it's constructed. Most wigs I'm just like, oh, it's the typical, all the hair's on top, all the hair is, you know, in their lines. But this actually gave thought to how the front looks and does a really good job doing it. It also stretches really nicely and it fits her head really well. I've had full set wigs that just don't fit the doll. My Fairyland Ricks, I got rid of his wig to his full set that I got from Fairyland. Like, this wasn't like, maybe you got the wrong wig from a second. No, I got this from Fairyland, and I had to cut the toes off the socks because they didn't fit. I had to get a different wig because it didn't fit. I mean, it fit, but it would like fling off because it was so small in comparison to his actual head. So, but that's the wig. I really like it. The only thing is, in the product pictures, it doesn't cut off like this. It's it tapers. So, you know, it bothers me when a doll company has product photos of a full set, and when you buy the full set, it's not what you get. It just seems kind of disingenuous. So it's not a big deal. I still like the wig. I'm still keeping it on her. So here are the original eyes, which I'll take them out of the bag. The reason why they're not in her head is because the dome. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to focus. So this is the color. I absolutely love the color. It's really nice, but the dome and the size of her eye sockets, it just doesn't work. It doesn't cause a gap on the sides, but rather, like, you can tell the eyes are further in the head than they should be. It's just weird. The eyes that I have in her now are eyes that I bought before I got her for a different doll, but I didn't like how they looked on that doll, so it works out. Now moving on to her full set outfit. So this is the top. She gets underwear. She gets this skirt. I'll get to that in a minute. And then these go on her feet, little cuffs. So let's start with the top. This top I really like it. I have one issue. To get it on. Now this is cool in looks, right? Like fashionably, it looks cool. But putting it on a doll is the most frustrating thing I have ever done. So what's happening here is you have this like lace looking thing, and then you have these, and it works like a button. You have to put them in the holes, but they don't go in every hole, there's always 2 holes between them, except like the last one. It's probably hard to see, So yeah, these thingies go in these holes. On a USD size, right? So it's really small. Look at my fingers compared to what I'm trying to do, right? And I got fat fingers. I'm just like, ugh. And it's on a doll, so you're like having to deal with the weight of the doll. I should have done this body review before dressing her. I did not. But now I know about the outfit. Another thing is you have to take her hands off to get into the sleeves because she has clawed hands. And I feel like her resin is soft because, yes, I know the hooks will damage the resin if you do something stupid, but I feel like just from the elastic pulling on the hook, it dented the resin. And maybe, I mean, I know all the doll companies don't have the same resin, but I'm thinking her resin might be a little bit softer than like resin sold, right? I'm not sure. Maybe it's just because it's thin, but yeah, just be careful when doing that. So that's the top. Here are her underwear. Nothing special. The only problem is her tail, like I talked about. It wants to get, the elastic band of the underwear wants to get stuck in between, and there is no hole for the tail, like, because what they could have done is put a hole and put a snap, like, you know. So you put a hole here and you put a snap so it can go around the tail. Easy. Then the tail doesn't get caught in it, and I don't have any problems. I'm keeping this for last because I have some words about it. These are the feet cuffs. Now they have the same thing on the front as they do the back of this outfit, but they also have these snaps on the back, which seems like how you would get it off, except I took one off. Okay, so one fell through the hole and the other one came apart as a like two-piece snap, but then fell out the back as well. I don't know if y'all can see that. So like this ball came off, and then this has a rod on it that goes through, and it also fell out, so that was really obnoxious. But they just slip over her feet. You don't even need to unhook them, and I didn't even try, so that's really upsetting. I think it was actually this one that messed up. And then, because I thought it fell through that you could put it back through, the hole got a little bit widened. And I'm just like, well, how'd you fall through in the first place if it wasn't already that wide? But, I mean, they're cute. They add something to her feet because there's nothing down there, like, as in clothing-wise, because she's not gonna wear shoes unless you custom get shoes. So, I think they're cute. I put them on her. So far, the red lining does not stain the doll. So that's really nice, because I find that reds and blacks stain the doll much more than other colors, but this is not the case. This is supposed to go under, like, I guess like that, but this thing is super stiff, and when you want to put it down, it's gonna stick up at one point because it's not going to do this. And remember, she has a big old tail, so if it goes under the tail weighs down one side, which causes the rest to floof up. If you put it over the tail, then this side literally goes up like this, like if this is the tail, then it wants to rise up like that, and that just looks horrible. I don't like it. I just don't. It's really, I hate the material. That really rough tulle material. Now, if it was just like one layer, and oh god, this is hard to see because it's all black. So it's two layers, right? We have this layer, and we have this layer. And if it was just this layer with the nice like pattern at the bottom, that would have been fine probably. But adding this extra stiff layer, because they're both stiff, just makes it really bulky and hear that? Scratchy. I don't like this material to begin with. So instead of this, I put some pants on her from a different outfit. But yeah, instead of this, I put on pants, and then I roll the pants up to her knees so these don't get covered. And it seems to be a pretty good look. In her box opening, there's pictures of her in the pants, so that's why she's not wearing this. I don't like this. So out of the whole full set, these two are the only thing I'm not using, and I haven't edited any of the pieces, so that's really nice. I still wish full sets came as, you know, what they say they are. Or not what they say they are, but they looked as nice as the picture. Because, you know, the wig isn't supposed to be cut like that. I feel like the outfit was better in the company photos as well. But overall, my overall thoughts on the doll, I'm really satisfied with her. This is my first Dream Valley. I never had a Dream Valley before this, so I'm really glad with my purchase. Like, I waited 7 months for this doll, and I am absolutely satisfied with her. She's adorable. She fits this character I came up with my head after ordering her. The really cool part is about the full set is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a shimmer in the red blushing, and that's also on her tail. It's not on her face, just where the blushing for the ears and the tail are. So if you really like shimmery, or you're, you know, if you hate shimmer, right, don't get the painted full set if you're looking secondhand. It'll save you some money anyways. If you like the shimmer, then I would definitely go for the full set. I don't know if the boys shimmer. There were 2 boys that came out with her, Glenn and Al. I don't know if it was Al. I know one of them's Glenn, maybe. Oof. They're like gray and black. And I really wanted them too, but I couldn't afford them. I don't know if they shimmer though, but they're just the boys that go kind of in the motif of the fox people. So that I'd hope someone would say something if it was, because I didn't realize that she shimmered. I looked at the photos and I didn't even think that she had shimmeriness in her blushing. So it was a pleasant surprise, and I'm glad I like the aesthetic, but if I didn't, I'd be super disappointed. So I think it's really important that when we open our dolls that we disclose as much information as possible to help people out. But yeah, that's it. This has been a Dream Valley Julie doll review. I hope I covered everything, but if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. YouTube doesn't necessarily tell me I have comments, but I try to check every other day to see if I have any new comments on my videos. So please leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next doll video. Bye!